I wanted to try out my ideas about getting feedback using a recording I made some years ago in Catalan. So I simply asked, can you give the same sort of feedback for this recording in Catalan? And I uploaded the short file there. It's not easy to listen to these things.
What an interesting recording! It was great to hear you sharing those 3 anecdotes. Based on your speaking, your level in Catalan seems to be around B1, intermediate. You speak with good flow and use a nice variety of past tenses.
Okay, we'll listen to any more of that. The problem is when we move on to things in Catalan. So I asked for quick feedback first, as that was one of the choices I had. So let's see what we can do with listening to these. Quite often I find that you have to click a second time to get the listen to work. Still not working? Okay, well, we'll try a third time. Okay, so we can always try a different approach. What we can do is we can select that and then right click, read aloud selection. Now let's see what language is used, what voice is used to read this aloud.
Molt bé. Aquí tens un comentari ràpid sobre les teves anècdotes en català. Bona fluïdesa, tens molta facilitat per parlar i connectar idees. Es nota que et sents còmode explicant històries. Ús dels temps passats. Utilitzes molt bé el pretèrit imperfet. Hi havia, estava, per descriure situacions.
Let's just stop on there. I was very happy with that that way of listening to it, but it does depend on using the Edge browser. Okay, the literal transcription here was very good. I think it has corrected one or two things, but let's not worry about that too much. Now, this I thought was a very useful step. This is identifying the errors but not correcting them. And the first one here, yeah, it's not en el mercat de las flors, it's al mercat de las flors. I think in the way that in English, in is the default preposition for place. In Catalan, the default preposition is a. You can see here I used los hooligans, and that los is Spanish, not Catalan. It should be els hooligans. And here's a mistake I make frequently. Instead of saying yo y la compañía, I should say la compañía y yo. And here you've got IE, which is not the correct form. It should be allá. And then the last one I'll comment on is hem parlat. Hem parlat is avui, today, and vam parlar is the correct past form. So that was very useful. Now, here's the pronunciation feedback. Let me see if we can get that to play. No, it's not working. So once again, what I shall do is block it and right click.
Aquí tens els dos consells de pronunciació per sonar més natural en català. He triat aquests dos perquè t'ajudaran a perdre l'accent d'altres llengües. Pa 3. Pronunciació. La S sonora. Com una abella. En català, quan la S va entre dues vocals, com a casa, clàssic o francesa, sona com el brunzit d'una abella.
Okay, that was Gemini's read aloud, and it wasn't so convincing. Let's see if we can get the Microsoft Edge one here. Let's just choose that. Right click, more tools. No, so we've got continue to read aloud from here.
Aquí tens els dos consells de pronunciació per sonar més natural en català. He triat aquests dos perquè t'ajudaran a perdre l'accent d'altres llengües. Pas 3.
The voice is much better there. It is genuine Catalan. Okay, let's move on. So here's a corrected version, and it marks the corrections that have been made. Let's have another go at getting Microsoft Edge to do this. So we're going to go to more tools, read aloud section.
Aquí tens la versió corregida. He arreglat la gramàtica i les paraules que venien del castellà, però he mantingut el teu estil perquè sigui fàcil de recordar.
So that really is very good. Let's move on to the colloquial version, and I'm not going to draw the Gemini version here. I'm just going to get straight into the Microsoft Edge version. Continue to read from here.
Aquí tens una versió de les teves històries com si les estiguessis explicant en un sopar amb amics a Barcelona. El to és més relaxat i fem servir expressions més naturals de la parla quotidiana. Pas 5. Versió col·loquial. Fa un munt d'anys vaig anar al teatre, crec que era al Mercat de les Flors. No, era un teatre una mica més alternatiu, no tan clàssic com els del centre.
Okay, so the sound of the Catalan there is really excellent. So this is a more colloquial version. The next step is a more advanced version. So let me just once again use Microsoft Edge. Continue to read aloud from here.
Fa un bon grapat d'anys vaig assistir a una representació en un teatre de Barcelona, possiblement al Mercat de les Flors. Es tractava d'una sala amb una programació més avantguardista que la dels teatres convencionals del centre.
Okay, so you can see some more advanced vocabulary, un grapat d'anys, una programació més avantguardista. Okay, it explains those three things there: avantguardista, litoral, and captivadora. And then we're going to move on to 7. So let's once again listen to that.
Fa ja unes quantes dècades vaig tenir l'oportunitat d'assistir a una representació teatral al Mercat de les Flors, o potser en algun altre espai de l'escena alternativa barcelonina. L'obra en qüestió era
Yep. So you can see that has changed to a more sophisticated version, and it explains down here some of the changes it's suggested there. Camí de ronda, encontre fortuit, deleitarse. That's it. Okay, so I then started asking about how unsatisfactory the voice was, and it said, no, I can't really do that.
I understand. You want to hear the feedback or the corrected versions spoken in Catalan. Unfortunately, I cannot change the voice or generate audio directly in this chat format. The voice you hear is the default of the platform. However, as I mentioned before, if you use the Gemini mobile app, the Gemini Live function allows you to choose from different voices and practice listening in Catalan.
Okay, but I was not able to do that on my iPad either. This was another attempt to listen to it being read aloud. Give it a bit more time.
Perfect. Escolta la correcció natural del pas 4. Pas 4. Correcció natural. Una vegada, fa molts anys, vaig anar al teatre. Crec que era al Mercat de la Flor. No.
No, that is so bad. Just compare it with the other way of doing it, which is using Microsoft Edge.
una vegada, fa molts anys, vaig anar al teatre. Crec que era al Mercat de les Flors.
The difference is just abysmal. Okay, so I think that's all.